Well, Pinch Punch is first of the month, and it's April. Wait, no, it's not. It's February. But somehow we're still hearing that Lewis Hamilton is apparently off to Ferrari. Welcome to Grid Talk. My name is Tom Downey, and today we are just going to have a little impromptu episode to discuss at the time of recording, potential rumours that Hamilton is going to Ferrari for 2025. Joining me, we have Grid Talk co-host Owen Medford.
Hello.
And Tom Horrocks.
Hi there.
And then the ugly duckling, Carl King.
Thanks, darling. Hello.
That's all right. That's all right, my friend. Just before we do get into this episode, we must thank our sponsor, as always, Bet Online. So Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device today to sign up and get in on the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE, that is BLEAV. That'll give you a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. And that is Bet Online, which is where the game starts. Also, be sure to follow us on our new, I can't say brand new anymore, socials at Grid Talk UK. So that's Facebook, MySpace, Bebo, all that good stuff. Joking aside, that is Facebook, Twitter, all your favorite social media platforms. And yes, I sound like a boomer by saying that, even though I'm not even 30 yet. So this show, little bit impromptu. I sent a thing about half an hour ago to see who was available, and unfortunately, I got stuck with these three. So I'll go around in order. As we said, the rumor is that Ferrari are signing Hamilton for 2025. Tom, do you think that this will actually go ahead?
Do you know what? Like, if you'd asked me like an hour and a half ago, I say no, not a chance, never going to happen. But I think there's too many people saying things about it to think there's no smoke without fire. So I think I'm erring on the side of yes, it will go ahead now, but I think there's more to it that we don't know yet. So I'm itching to find out what those are. And until it's officially announced by Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes, or Ferrari, then I'm not going to fully get on the hype train.
That's fair. Owen, do you think this move is going ahead for 2025?
I'm honest, I'm kind of in disbelief. I mean, there's similar to Tom. Like, again, even if an hour ago, if you'd asked me, I'd be like, there's no way that's happening. But I mean, everything seems to point to it. I don't know. It seems like a lot of smoke if there's no fire at all. So I guess we're going to see that it does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carl, last but not least, something like that anyway. Do you think Hamilton will go to Ferrari?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna go with it. I'm slightly dubious as to what the deal is. I don't think he's going in just as a driver. I think there's a management thing. I don't know why. There's something going on in my head there. It just doesn't feel like the right move just for a driver. It's a sensible place to be in Mercedes. He'll have a decent car next year, let's be honest. And Ferrari are reliability central, or unreliability central, sorry. So there must be a sweetener in there, whether it's a bucket load of cash, which I'm sure Mercedes would be able to cough up the same bucket. I'm not quite sure as to why he's going to Ferrari, but I do sort of think he will.
Okay, some very interesting thoughts there. So what I'm going to do now as well is I'm going to throw traditional sort of like order for the podcast out the window. Because
welcome to the Monkey Suit podcast.
Yeah, all right, yeah, but self promos at the end, please. But if you know, first of all, if you would like to hear more 5-star interruptions like that, you can leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify or a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. How about that one? Got that one in early today. So no, when I send something convention out the window, instead of going around people individually, I think we'll all just sort of like have a chat about it for say like half hour, 40 minutes, because I think something like this, that's sort of the better way that it's going to happen. So off goes host and panelisting, and let's just have a chat as a group of mates about this. and Carl. I don't know why
I
I'm
feel
so
bullied today.
I
What's
know,
with that, Tom?
well, my coffee is sitting in my thing next to me, and I haven't drunk it yet, so I think that's why. No, so I mean, for me anyway, the Ferrari thing. I kind of agree with what you said earlier, Tom, where it's like, it, there's always been these rumors, and Hamilton's always said he'd like to drive for Ferrari, but it feels like now it's like, now that we're hearing, the BBC picking up on it, and Chris Medland has reported on it, and somebody said he's like the Fabrizio Romano of F1, who apparently is very, very sort of like good source for things in football. Oh, and you should be able to correct me on that. Because I'm not lying to football.
You've got it.
I only got it because someone else said it. I cannot take any credit for that one. But it's just I don't know about you boys, but it feels like it's sort of just come from absolutely nowhere. And I wonder if, obviously,
has it though? These rumors have been going around for a long time.
Well, this is what I mean. They've been going round. There's always Ferrari is synonymous with F1. It's one of, well, it's the name in F1. Let's be fair, closely followed by McLaren and then Williams, I'd say. But it's gone from sort of like, oh yeah, Hamilton joined Ferrari, to Mercedes have apparently got like some internal meeting at 2:00, so that is in an hour and 45 minutes time, where Toto and James Allison and all the rest of it, they're all going to sort of like discuss it then. I mean, I think Hamilton's also looking like past F1. Does anybody want to like?
That's why I'm thinking there's something else. There's a sweetener on this deal.
I don't understand why he would sign a 2-year deal with Mercedes to then less than 6 months later sign another deal with Ferrari. Unless he signed that deal with this, this really really leaky option in there, which allows him to get out of it, or even that it was discussed with Toto that we'll sign this 2-year deal, but I might, if things don't go well at the end of this season, I might well look at going somewhere else. And I know that the last couple of contracts he's signed, he's been getting less and less money. I can only assume this Ferrari contract is a huge payday as well. Not that that's his prime motivation. His motivation is getting that 8th championship, but
you're not going to do it to Ferrari, though.
I don't know. Like they let's be honest. 2017 and 2018, they had a car that could have won the world championship. And if Lewis Hamilton was in that car instead of Sebastian Vettel, I think Lewis Hamilton wins a couple of championships for Ferrari. So, and I think he knows that.
2018.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you have waited for a year? Why would you not wait till 2026? It just seems really random to go in at 25.
I feel like this is
designing the car.
I feel like his plan was to go for 26, but then they've the opportunity came for 25, and he's gone, well, let's do a year early and then get used to it, like Alonso did.
My only thought is Sainz has been given an offer, and that's what's pushed the boat on quite quickly. Do you not think?
Sorry, when you were going to say something.
Well, I'm just thinking 2026, why would you... I almost wouldn't want to go too early because that's new engine regs, unless twice in the same career, which seems kind of insane that we'd have, Ferrari have gone, right, stuff the V6 regulations that we've currently got. We're not going to be able to do that. We'll never get on a par with the power that Mercedes and Honda now have. He's going to be courted again. And Ferrari have essentially just nailed down, done a Mercedes and just gone, right, we can't do it, and poured all their resources into it, and do a similar thing. Because it would be ridiculous if it happened twice. But I think that's why you don't go 2026. You almost want that year that year to learn the team, and then you're as Tom says on a bit of a par. As he was
it's a huge career risk. It's a huge career risk to risk his legacy going up against who I think is currently the fastest qualifier in Formula One, possibly in the history of the sport. It's a huge gamble. I think overall Hamilton is probably the at the moment the stronger presence in Formula One, but Leclerc, like he's the real deal, and in the right scenario, he is a multiple world champion. So to go up against that, when you've got Max Verstappen with no real competitor in the car opposite, and then to give George Russell the whole team. Like, I think he knows that he's potentially got the measure of Russell at the moment over the next couple of years. So to give Russell an entire organization behind him trying to win that world championship, it's a huge risk on multiple
God
levels.
help me if George Russell wins a championship. But the thing is that it feels like a bit of a midlife crisis. Do you know, like he's a Merc driver and now he's suddenly got the old banger of a Ferrari that he's just gone and bought and he wants to drive that around. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's not a career suicide, it's a career change because he is stagnant. He is stagnant in Mercedes. Where's he going to go? Well, how is he going to get better? It feels like he's done his time there, and maybe that's it. He wants a new challenge and something exciting to drive around in. And with an exciting brand, exciting name. The thing is he going to fail by being in a Ferrari? He could always jump back out and go to wherever. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone's going to
McLaren. Return to McLaren.
Return to McLaren. But I don't feel that there's any real sort of issue with his career. I don't think it's a career nightmare.
Yeah, and I wonder if there's like an element of when Schumacher went to Mercedes, way back when, and is it a case of he knows something we don't? Obviously, we've got the engine regs in 2026. Is there going to be more to it? There's obviously something we don't know, because this has gone from being like it might happen to it sounds like it's going to happen. And as I think, Carl, you said earlier, there's no smoke without fire, and something's happening. And it does look like it looks like it's going to happen. So I want to steer the conversation a little bit. Who replaces Hamilton at Mercedes?
I'm going to nail my flag to the gatepost right now and say Antonelli. Straight in as a rookie.
Straight in the Mercedes.
Mm.
He's only going into F2 this year, isn't he?
I know. Well, I mean that's caveated by how he does in F2. If he goes the way that
he wins
they think
F2,
he does,
yeah.
Or certainly if he does well in F2. Lando Norris got the nod by finishing second, but that's because he didn't have as good a car as the other guys. But for me, it'd be him, or the other option would be Esteban Ocon, as Louis mentioned in the chat. Given that he is managed by Toto Wolff, but and also he has also done a very good job, Ocon, over the last few years.
You're going to have to eat your words, Tom.
I know. I'm just saying that to try and curse him. Sergio Perez to Mercedes. I've called it now. No, for me, I'm going to say Antonelli.
Okay. Oh, fine. Who do you think?
Oh, who do I think? Gosh.
Well, hang on. So, who do you think? Because I'm going to ask you all another question after this, actually.
What if it's a straight swap?
What, Sainz?
Yeah.
Science would be strong. That's because that's the one thing as well. People say about this closes off options for Sainz. It also opens a door for the rest of the grid, because a lot of places would seem completely locked
everyone's
down.
going to start dancing around, aren't
This
they?
This is a huge reshuffle now. I think you're going to see Alonso sniffing around that Mercedes seat, definitely.
We haven't had a silly season last year, and now we're going to get a crazy one this year. I think you've also got Albon, could be an interesting one to put in.
Oh, I could see Albon.
I can see Albon and Russell. Ooh. I think there would be a British dream team in some ways. Gosh,
he's Thai.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Sorry to any Thai listeners.
Yeah, as much as I'm Irish, Tom.
Same thing.
I think I think Albon could be an interesting one. I think it'd be sort of a bit of a younger dream team. The other, I don't know the contract, but I think contracts have gone out of windows this now, is Oscar Piastri.
I mean, clearly the contracts are out the windows, because Hamilton's he's extended until end of 2025. But if you can do a break clause or a get out clause, or just do the good old fashioned pay the contract off, clearly it doesn't matter. So I mean, Mark Webber's the sort of person who's going to manage Piastri. Well, clearly they're fairly ruthless when it comes to the contract. So if they can do it,
I wonder
anyone
why,
who's-
if this is why Norris also signed that contract and got that contract signed. There was something rumors going around early on about him, and he just wanted to stake his mark in the ground.
That's not a bad shout, actually, Carl.
I think certainly McLaren would have wanted to lock him in if they were knowing that that all those rumours that a Mercedes seat might have been coming available. I
Yeah.
wonder
By
if
the
Carlos
way-
Sainz knew about this before today as well.
I'm
It
sure
would-
he did.
It would
Well,
be
there've
Pete
been rumours-
Ferrari.
I think
though,
he's
to
known for the
announce-
last 2 years, Tom.
It
It's
would be
coming.
Pete
Yeah.
Ferrari to announce his replacement without telling him.
That's right. That's an Alpine, isn't it?
That's an
right?
Alpine job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
on one. Right?
This
I'm just thinking-
screams of Vettel Ferrari 2020.
It does. I will say, don't ask how I know. Apparently,
How
it's
do you
not.
know,
a-
right?
It's it's not a 2:00 meeting. It's a 2:30 meeting with Toto in attendance.
I've heard this, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a full company meeting, and I think that pretty much confirms it. Bearing in mind you've got the no comments coming out of Ferrari.
Yeah,
well. I think this is nailed on.
I think
it's
something is
happening.
going on, and whether their full meeting is an announcement to the team, which would then be pressed quite quickly. So we should know about 3 o'clock as to really what's going on. I think
Yeah, well,
3 o'clock UK GMT. Like it will be interesting, and how long's Toto got left at Mercedes as well? Yeah, obviously as owner, he's different, but as team principal.
He's
Well,
just signed a new deal as well. Not that that means anything, but he's just signed a new deal.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Ask Perez, deals can be broken.
well, let's be honest. He signed a new deal with a third of himself. Like, you remember he owns a third of that team, so there's a certain amount. And Jim Ratcliffe's not exactly sort of he's moving around, but how did that deal work? I don't remember. I don't remember if they diluted the stake of each Mercedes and Toto, but I know it's a bit weird.
Is split completely evenly a third, isn't it?
Yeah, third.
And what about
Obviously.
where could Sainz go now?
Audi.
No, but
We'll
Audi's
take
not.
a year off and then go to Audi. A year off.
No, I don't think take a year off.
Can you see him go to Sauber for a year though?
That's
To
what I'm
replace
saying.
Bottas.
He won't.
Sorry, Stake.
He's better than Bottas.
Yeah,
I mean, he
but
is,
he's not
but-
gonna
Replace
go-
Show.
He's not. That's what I'm saying. Does he take a year off, in inverted commas, and actually sign to Audi next year, and be ready for Audi?
Can't see him
To be up and
leaving
running.
Formula One for a year to then join an Audi team that's probably not going to be front of the field. I think he'd
Well,
rather be in an uncompetitive Sauber than that.
Well, the
Yeah.
rumor of Lando Norris going there has obviously been squashed as well.
But has now, yeah. I think Sainz
So-
was always their top target, but this deal has just massively reduced Carlos Sainz's stock in the sense that he would have been able to name his price to Audi, but now they know he hasn't got a choice, and it might just be that Audi is his best option.
Yeah, but if he
Um,
goes to Audi, well, Sauber or whatever the feck they want to call it, like he's not going to go in this year now. So he then ends up sort of floating for a year, doesn't he?
Well, no, because he's still there. He's
Oh,
still
yeah, still
at Ferrari
there,
this year, isn't he? So
Oh,
then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just 25. It will be. It could potentially be a stake or Sauber or whatever they're calling themselves this week for the season.
Do you watch? Carlos Sainz will have the season of his life this year.
I hope so. I mean,
I
Aston
hope
Martin
so.
would be a good shout, especially if Alonso gets the move to Mercedes.
Well-
Can you imagine that?
Oh Jesus,
Alonso
there's
to
going to be real
Mercedes.
dancing chairs.
Well,
isn't there?
I'll give you something to think about in a second. But what I just want to ask you first is, very quickly, Tom. We said, who do you think will replace Hamilton? Who do you want to replace Hamilton?
Antonelli. I'm just leading with my
Yeah.
heart. I just love the story of
that's
a
fair.
18-year-old rookie coming into a top team. I would just love to see that, especially how highly he's rated. If he turns out he's absolutely terrible in Formula 2, then I will revise my my theory. But based on what I know about Antonelli and what I think he's going to be like, I would love to see Antonelli.
Okay. Oh, and same question. Who do you want to see replace?
If only because apparently I'm a bit of a masochist / sadist. I think for everyone else. Well, I'd just like to see. I kind of want to see Fernando Alonso. I just want to see how that would play out.
All right.
I bet he's already on the phone. Like, I guarantee
Oh, yeah.
he's
Oh yeah,
he's currently sat in Brackley in the car park.
Will you let me in the door?
yeah. You say that in his new company Mercedes. Right, Carl. What about you, mate?
Stroll. No. I generally think
Lawrence
Albon.
Stroll has actually bought the team. That's actually what's
Yeah.
happened.
I genuinely think Albon. I want Albon. I think it would be it's his time to shine. If he does another season in Williams, where's he going to go? He needs to go somewhere next season. So he can't sit in Williams, I don't think, unless James Rolls suddenly turns that team around and that car around, which I can't imagine. And that 2026 car is something tasty. But I think it's going to be a bit. I think he makes sense.
Okay.
He's driving for Mercedes at the moment. It's in the Mercedes engine car, so it's sort of the links are there.
Yeah, I'll tell you who I would. I'll tell you what I can see happening, and something to think about. Honda are obviously going to Aston Martin in 2026, and the way Alonso, for want of a better phrase, slags Honda off. I'm trying to find a better way of phrasing it, but the stuff that Alonso was saying about Honda when he's obviously driving for McLaren, they're not going to want, or Honda aren't going to want Alonso in that car again. And do you think they'll bring Yuki? Because obviously Honda backed Yuki into the AlphaTauri in 2021. That will then free up.
Jesus, there. Yuki and Stroll. That'd be Crash Derby, won't it?
No. I think because Daddy Stroll has been putting a lot more money into the Aston Martin hypercar project, and I think after 2023 he's realised that Lance just isn't cut out for F1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
there's two seats in Aston then.
Yeah, so I think he'll put Lance in the hypercar, because I think Lance will do well in hypercars. Because there's the new Valkyrie or Valhalla project. I can't remember which one it's called, or the Vulcan. One of them begins with V. Owen probably knows.
Which one do you mean? Because there's the Valhalla, which is the road car, and then you've got the Valkyrie. Well, the one they're doing what for WEC and IMSA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Valkyrie. It's
Valkyrie, I thought so. Yeah,
they're not going to have to build road cars. They're going to go on a dedicated hypercar route for that. Because complete aside, yeah.
So I can see Stroll going into that, and then Yuki and Drugovich in Aston Martin.
I can't see Drugovich at Aston Martin. I don't think. I think his time has now passed. But I can see like someone like Alex Albon getting that move as the next logical step for him if Mercedes don't have the confidence in him. But yeah, I don't. I agree though. I do think that Lance Stroll's time in Formula One is now less secure than it has been, given that Aston Martin have sold part of the team to other investors as well. It's no longer just a vanity project. So I can genuinely see this being Stroll's last year, or certainly one of his last seasons in Formula One. So the end may finally be in sight.
I'm just thinking, it's interesting that none of us are saying Mick Schumacher, who is supposedly the reserve driver for Mercedes.
I forgot about him. Who's he?
Good one. No, he's driving an Alpine and WEC, isn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think anything. I don't think he's going to do anything. And if does this apart? Does this really shake up everyone? Is there any teams that are solid that are going to stay as is now that for 2025? Because everyone must be looking around, going, "Oh, there's a space over there."
Yeah, McLaren will remain unchanged. I'm convinced about that.
What about Alpine? Alpine's a disaster zone at the moment.
No, I think one of those two goes. One of those two goes at the end of the season. I think the driver that goes is Ocon.
And Haas?
Oh, who knows? Haas, I'm not even convinced he'll be on the grid.
I think Haas will be interesting in a few years.
I hope
so. Yeah, me too.
I mean, Gene Haas has been wanting to sell up he's not been wanting to do that for years. Andretti coming in and taking it off him would probably be helpful for everyone.
The only way he'd sell that team at the moment, though, is if someone offered him £1 billion. Genuinely.
But it's not worth £1 billion.
It's not. It's
worth about £2.50.
Well, no, if for the entry alone, it's worth a minimum of 200 million because that's how much you have to pay to
Sorry,
bypass the system
Braun
anyway.
brought whatever that team was for a quid.
Yeah, but that's
so-
before there was an entry level,
Okay.
an entry cost to joining Formula One, which instantly put 200 million onto the value of every Formula One team, even if they just have the entry. That's without any facilities, any car, any talent. So every Formula One team is worth a minimum of 200 million. So
And that's likely to be hiked when we get the
yeah,
new Concord agreement. So it's
exactly, yeah.
they want 600 million for that now.
Gene's holding out till the next Concord, and then he'll sell the team, I think, for a huge profit.
Yeah.
Speaking of, why have the FIA actually made a statement at all? Do you reckon that's like sort of standard procedure, or
And cover my ass. Is what
it's
that
a bit?
is.
I don't know. It's a bit weird to me.
It is a bit odd, isn't it?
It's a complete cover my ass thing of, oh no, we realise, but we can't do anything about it now. We've made a mistake, but like to say the team was uncompetitive just seemed the most random excuse.
Yeah, he's basically like, yeah,
When
he's basically just having a dig at his own team where his name is the team.
Mhm.
But well,
Oh no, it's just weird. It's weird that the FIA, which approved them, has then come out and said against FOM that we're just
Yeah.
like we're going to move forward. I don't know why even acknowledge it. Like that's my thinking, but
It's all a bit mad. Yeah, I think it feels like we're in the middle of summer now, in a weird way. Like with silly season starting and all these discussions. We normally don't start them until April, May time. And now here we are discussing. I think it's just going to throw a lot of turmoil into seas as to who's going where, and a lot of uncomfortableness for a lot of drivers, and interest from like Dragovic, not Logan. What's the other one?
Lance.
Lance. No. Who drove for Ross for Ricardo for a while? The Australian.
Carl, I don't know what on earth you're on about.
Okay. Who drove
just
in Ricardo's chair when he broke his wrist?
Oh, Lawson.
Lawson. That's the guy. God.
To be fair, if you could lure Lawson away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be there could be a lot of floating around and a lot of squeaky bum times.
I'll tell you what, it's funny that we were sitting there going, well, this is the first F1 season since like 1952 or something that no one's, we've had no driver changes between two seasons. And then we get sort of, it seems a bit calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Well, with this news.
Yeah.
I think there was things at play last season and no one could sign anything or agree with anything. So they just went, fuck it, let's have the winter break and we'll try and work it out.
It's weird that I've just thought it's weird that it's happened on the 1st of February that this is happening.
Why so?
Well, I'm thinking maybe it's an expiry on the 31st of January. But
for that contract.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think this. I could be clutching at straws here, but I just think there's something to those dates.
Yeah, it's all very conveniently timed, isn't it? So.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I would feel shit being.
Child language, please.
Sorry. I would feel rubbish being
Apologies
part
for
of
that.
the apologies.
Sorry.
I'd feel rubbish being part of the Mercedes team, and I'd feel rubbish being part of the Ferrari team at the moment, because as a mechanic, because as a team member, there must be so much turmoil in those teams. And I wonder whether, this meeting that's going to happen as to what that meeting is going to elicit.
Yeah, and obviously we don't have. Sorry, I'm trying to sort something out on the desk. Obviously we don't have any insights. Well, certainly three of us here don't have any insight. Do we, Wayne? Have any insight as to what's going on in that meeting? We should be clear that at the moment it is just speculation, but there's speculation, and then there's this level of speculation. So we'll see. But yeah, it's
I think something's happening. Whether it is
something's definitely
the
happening.
black and white of Hamilton to Ferrari, I think something is definitely happening.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have some comments in chat. Oh, we've got some weird podcast called the Monkey Seat Podcast.
That's actually me.
For everybody who's listening and who doesn't know, the Monkey Seat is Tom and Carl, and we're all very good fans here. So hence why there's a little bit of rib tickling
Ribbing.
going on. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So Tom, you mentioned about Kimi Antonelli going straight in. If he sets F2 like we suspect he will, and if you want to hear more about F2, go listen to our sister show Formula Talk. There you are, Soph.
Nice plug.
Yeah, that was
Well played.
that was smooth. That was Veted. That was so smooth. If Kimi Antonelli, and I went to say Kimi, then I thought, why am I talking about Raikkonen? But no, of course it's Kimi Antonelli. If he does have a big year in F2, then that could be it. My mate Aston, who's in chat, he says, I want to make stuff. He says, poor Charles and also Alonso to Merck. I can see Alonso going to Merck, and it would be the most Alonso thing to move to Merck when they're on a bit of a downward slump. It'll just add to his list of poor team moves. And,
I'm here for it.
And do you know what? I think if Alonso did go to Merck and then Merck, got more competitive, because I think they get themselves a hard time in 2023, because I think the car was better than they give themselves credit for. Because if you take obviously the whole season to Red Bull out of the equation, Merck are winning the championship, winning the constructors at least, and blah blah blah. So if they are on that upward trajectory, Hamilton himself said Mercedes have found that North Star or whatever he said, just before he leaves. So it's I'd just like to see Russell and Alonso just have a falling out. I think that'd be hilarious. And I'd be so here for it. Louis made a really, really good point in chat. He said Sainz is a criminally underrated and overlooked driver. Feels like his time at Renault all over again. Hopefully he'll land on his feet at a good team, be it Red Bull or Merck. I fully agree. And I've been saying for a couple of years now that Sainz is the better race driver at Ferrari. Leclerc's better over one lap. There's no question Leclerc's better over one lap. But look at Sainz's win in Singapore. The experience, the racecraft to do what he did. When he said it's on purpose, keeping Lando in DRS. Yeah, Louis, you've made a great point.
I think he would make a great second driver in Red Bull.
I think he makes an amazing partner for Charles Leclerc, and I think it's ballsy for Ferrari to change that, given that I think they have, for what Ferrari have, for what they need, I think that is the best driver lineup in Formula One.
But Sainz is
because Leclerc has that out and out pace, that X factor, that's something. Sainz can race him to within the tiniest margin, but that just tiny X factor, Leclerc's got it. But as we've seen, Sainz will win him. Sainz will win in a competitive car. Sainz and Leclerc will optimize over a season and be an amazing team. I think Hamilton
is your problem.
I think that's the point there, and they will be an amazing team. I think Hamilton and Leclerc will be a little bit more combustible. That will be my one concern. However, every element that Carlos Sainz has that makes him strong, Lewis is stronger. So from that element, it is a trade-up.
I'll be honest with you. Assuming Lewis can come in and hit the ground running and that sort of thing, I don't see Leclerc as a match at all. I think they'll be similar on one lap pace. Maybe Leclerc might be that bit faster, but it won't matter, because every time they go into a race, that I don't know. I just see a sort of a vulnerability almost in Leclerc, in that he seems to throw away opportunities. Whereas
this is all about Ferrari putting Leclerc on a pedestal. This really is. It's like, oh, you're better than a 8-time world champion, and that's what this is all about.
7-time champion.
But that's what it's all about. It's all about Leclerc. And if Leclerc said, I want to now, Sainz is too close to me, and we're not gaining anything from it. Because, if they're battling each other, I think putting Hamilton into it gives a very different driving style, very different remit, and Leclerc can learn off Hamilton, but also can still be ahead of him. And that's a shocking thing to say. But I think, and the only reason the advantage for Hamilton is that he's going into a retirement job.
Yeah.
It all feels massively high risk, doesn't it?
It does.
For everyone.
It's like, yeah, like there's no party that's getting a sort of safe deal here.
No. Yeah. Absolutely not. And I think it's going to throw a lot of curveballs with a lot of other teams as well.
Yeah, and it's going to kick off the most. Well, it's already kicking off the most like incredible silly season, and the season hasn't even started. You know, this is I genuinely did not see this coming at all, especially after Hamilton signed the contract extension, and then he's basically just gone mic drop. And
can you hear the Netflix episode on this already? With the Twitter messages and things.
Yeah. Yeah, that you hear the Twitter sound.
Yeah.
And then Will Buxton.
Oh, sorry, X. Now.
Oh, X. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah, X. Yeah, or
yeah. You can imagine the episode.
Yeah.
You can see the episode happening.
Yeah. Mate, I've just finished watching the Six Nations documentary done by the same on Netflix. Very good, by the way.
Tennis one's very good.
Yeah.
And the golf.
I got the NASCAR one to watch next.
Yeah,
but it's all done by the same people who Drive to Survive, and I can just picture that sort of like distant like beep sound that they do with the sort of like echo like thud.
Yeah,
and then I can just imagine Will Buxton walking onto the screen and going, "Nobody saw this coming. Nobody in F1." Just like proper like OTT. Yeah.
They've just shown all the previous footage of Hamilton just saying, "No, I'm still Mercedes."
Yeah,
and they'll wang it back to 2021. That's what they'll do. Do you remember when Hamilton took a break from socials and stuff after the events at the end of that season? They'll no doubt twist that. But yeah,
it's a great season opener for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or do they finish it on this season because it hasn't come out yet? Do they have time to?
They've already finished and probably recorded and edited this season. They'll just stick a title card on the end of the last episode and say coming in season.
Like they did with Nick DeVries, didn't they? They just had DeVries sitting down and be like, "Oh,
yeah." It's just like things that didn't age well. DeVries' F1 career. We've got a couple more. Oh, here's a bold take from Buttercream Fiend, great name by the way. That's a good one actually. In the YouTube chat, imagine this: Alonso going to Merck and winning the championship in 2025. Oh my word!
I'm proper chuckling here.
I think we would. I think we would actually see Ruby step down from being an F1 fan if that happened.
Buttercream Fiend, are you Elliot Galton by any chance? It's our friend. He's a Alonso super fan.
Welcome in, mate.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Another thing he said, if he has to carry Sol for another season, he might leave. And so, like, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah. We've got more comments. Star.
I was gonna say, what do you mean if?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, if very good point. Star 11. Lewis has big and plural. You know what I mean? And confidence. He will beat anyone. That's fair. He said he will happily join Max Red Bull, and I don't think anyone else will actually move. Drivers can talk the talk, but Lewis has walked the walk. I think that's a fair comment, to be honest. I don't think anybody is questioning Hamilton's ability. And I think if anybody does question Hamilton's ability, well, you just, you just need to look at the cold, hard facts.
He had to take the penalty here, didn't he? Before anyone, and hit the goal. And yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. Certainly none of us here, and Carl, you're right, are not Hamilton fans by any stretch. These other two, well, unfortunately, they are. Joking.
But you, as not a Hamilton fan, I
still massively appreciate what he's done in the sport, and I've always said that, and I will always say it. So yeah,
I'm a Lando Norris fan, mate. Come on.
Yeah, sure. Everybody's a Lando fan. No, another one. Ruby's posted this from Aaron. I did see Aaron post it in Slack earlier. Big question around the possible Hamilton to Ferrari move. Does it add value to F1? Asking for an American friend.
Yes, absolutely, it does add value to F1. That
Does
partnership
it?
for Formula One is absolutely huge, and it will just elevate it to a whole nother level. It's having a first British driver to drive for Ferrari since Nigel Mansell as well. It'll be massive for Ferrari in this country, who since again for 40 years now have just been the big bad. You know, they've been the villain of the piece effectively. So Hamilton driving for Ferrari is huge for Ferrari, and it's huge for brand Hamilton as well. To see him in red will take a lot of getting used to.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for the Americans. I don't know. I the Americans as big on Ferrari as the rest of the world. I just feel that they are very weirdly British team supporting more than Italian. But yeah, like I think it will be an exciting. And it will move. It will excite them, and it will make something of the Americans. And here we go, Chicago.
Oh yeah, I'm not even getting into that. Yeah.
I'm fine if it replaces Miami.
Yeah, but it's still too many American races.
Three's fine. I'm fine with three, but I'm not fine with Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, mind you, I think now that Vegas has come on and sold on Miami standard, Miami's just gone, oh no. You know, it's the Ralph Wiggum meme chuckles, I'm in danger. Basically, you know, it's so bad they're giving him a sprint. So Aston, who's I want to make stuff in chat, he said Daddy Stroll sell out in 2027, then Stroll is out. I think Big Pappy Stroll is working on an exit strategy. Especially with unfortunately Saudi, putting more money into that team. I can see that happening. As you might have figured out, I am beginning to wrap up now. Also, Buttercream Fiend, stagnation is bad. Every driver needs to move through the teams in their career. The potential it brings to shake up the grid or change the direction of a team can make new seasons more exciting. That's a really good point.
Yeah. And also, I can't remember the last driver, if there ever has been a driver that's won a world championship in three different teams. I don't think there has been. So him going to Ferrari to hopefully, for his perspective, try and get that 8-4 championship, because I can't see it happening this year. I can't think of any other driver that's won a world championship in three different teams.
I can't see it happening in any year now. He is going to be second to Clerky Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's a good
think
fact
next
if that happens.
25, I think Leclerc will have the measure of him, but 26, if he can maintain his level, I think he will be back either on a par or ahead of Leclerc, but it's still a huge gamble, because if he does, if he does kind of lose that, a couple of percent of his top level, then Leclerc will overtake him. So, and that's if Leclerc stays still.
Which he will when his car breaks down the Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. But
He'll definitely stay still.
Buttercream Fiend, sorry, I'm not sure what to call you, so I'll call you that. Said bring back Hockenheim, mate. I'm with you on that, and bring back Malaysia while we're there. Yeah, Ruby, I wouldn't quit if Alonso won in a Merc. Fair, I'd quit if Saudi got more presence in F1. Fair. Yeah. Well, I think, gentlemen, unless any of you want to add anything else about the, at the time of recording, rumored Alonso. No, not Alonso. Wrong one. Hamilton.
Not yet, anyway, Tom. That's next week.
That's next week's show. It's like Alonso to Mercedes confirmed. Yeah. No. So that's. I think that's going to be it from us about the. At the moment, rumors of Hamilton moving to Ferrari for 2025. Chaps, just want to give you a chance to promote yourselves. So, Carl, I said you were part of the Monkey Seat podcast. Who'd you host that with, by the way?
This person down there, I think. I don't know.
You're,
He's up
no, you're
there.
down there to me.
Yeah, you're down there. I'm just looking at the feed. You're actually down there on mine. That is Mr. Tom Horrocks. We run the Monk Seat. We're the sweary, slightly crazy version.
We noticed.
Yes, so sorry. We are very silly and we talk about rubbish. But we try and get through what's happening in seasons and racing. We haven't done one in a while. We keep going with 2-1 and we will, but yeah, I think we were meant to do one soon, and now this has all happened. But hey, see what happens.
This is the one. We'll just double this.
Yeah, we're claiming this.
Yeah, we'll just post this as a link in our feed.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
And that's my plug for the Monkey Seat as well.
Perfect. Do you want to plug anything else, Tom, or is that it?
Just everyone, please come and support Grid Talk. It's all fan led. We're not professionals. We absolutely love the sport, especially on days like this. So just please support Grid Talk in everything that we do.
Very true. Owain, anything you want to give a plug to?
Just social channels. And Grid Talk UK is where you can find us.
Absolutely. And I'll give, like I said earlier, a quick plug to Formula Talk, where we cover, we cover F2, F3, F1 Academy. We're now looking at Formula E, IndyCar, NASCAR. All sorts. So that will be fun. So just to round out the episode, chaps, thank you so much for joining. Grid Talk is available on YouTube, where most episodes are recorded live. This one obviously being going live because it's breaking news in F1. You can also catch everything on Amazon Fire, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, Verbal, and Pocket Cast. Just search Formula One Grid Talk for a back catalogue of shows. Please also do consider supporting the channel, whether that's through Patreon or any means that you can. It will help us get mics, lights, and better recording equipment. Also, make sure you are subscribed so you're the first to know when each new weekly episode is released. Can you tell it's been a while since I've hosted? We will be back soon, probably in about 2 hours, I'm joking, for plenty more F1 content. Thank you very much for listening to the Grid Talk podcast presented by Bet Online, and goodbye.